Hey y'all, it's Jen for the Love of Iris, and welcome to another one of our 31 Days of Halloween. This is a box I saw, I think Crafty Caroline had it on her channel, and I adapted it for a Halloween. And it is a box that opens like this. Isn't that sweet? It's like a Z fold, I don't know. I'm not sure. But it will hold, what I'm going to do with it is fill it with treats for the special trick-or-treaters, like my family members, kids, um, or the really close neighbors' kids, the ones that I really want to give like full-size candy bars to, or things like that, because it is quite a big box. It measures 6 by 3.5 by 1.5. So it's a really big box. It'll hold quite a bit of stuff. So let me show you how to make it. You will need 3 pieces of cardstock. You will need for your base 1 piece of 8.25 by 11. And then for your lid, you're going to need 2 pieces of 8.5 by 6 3/8. Now I'm using basic black and tangerine tango because I'm doing, again, Halloween. And then if you want to mat your lid, your DSP is going to be 3.25 by 3 1/8, and you'll need 2 pieces of that. I'm going to use the pumpkins this time. I used the bats last time. So let's do the base first. And again, the base is the 8.25 by 11. So you will take the base and score at 1 and 2.5 on all 4 sides. So what I'm going to do is, because it's easier for me since I'm using my trimmer, I'm just going to score on 1 on all 4 sides because I'm going to use this side. And then I'm going to go around and score at 2.5 on all 4 sides. So I'm just turning to go 1. And then once I get all 4 of those done, then I will go ahead and do the 2.5. 2.5. And I'm going to be doing, she showed how to do a reinforced box, which I liked a lot. I hadn't seen it before. So I'm going to show you how to do a reinforced box. And basically, it reinforces the sides so you can have, it's a bit of a heavier duty box, I guess you could say. Okay, so you should have a bunch of score lines. Let's see if I can tilt it. Yeah. So 2 score lines on each side of all of the sides. Okay? So let's build our box and we'll deal with the lids later. So burnish, fold and burnish on all of your score lines. Okay? And I'm just using my bone folder for that. Okay. And I have made myself a template so I don't forget. And it's going to look like this. What you're going to do is, if you have it, let's have it on the long side, or on the long, we're going to have it portrait. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take, if you're having it on the 8.25 inch going horizontally, you're going to completely remove these bottom 2 pieces. So these bottom 2 score lines, okay? Those 2 are going to be completely removed. You're going to cut up to the second score line on the second one and remove the bottom one here. So you've just taken an L basically away, okay? And then go ahead and cut in a little bit on this one, this flap here, and this flap here. We're going to taper that. You with me so far? Okay, now go ahead and taper this one here, just this bottom part right here. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're going to remove the last 2, all the way up to the second score line and remove these two. Cut all the way up to the second score line on this one as well. Remove only the bottom piece of this one. So you still have this flap, so you've got your L again. Okay, got your L. And then taper these in here. Okay, and then just taper this one. So this is what it looks like right now. Can you see that? Has everybody got it? You've got the L. These two flaps are tapered. And this very bottom one is tapered. This is intact. So let's flip it over and do this on the other side. Again, this far one, you're going to remove both pieces all the way up to the second score line. This next piece, cut all the way up to the second score line, but only remove the bottom. Go ahead and taper these. Okay. Again, on the other side, the first cut all the way to the second score line, remove both of these. The next one all the way up to the second score line, just remove the bottom one. We're going to taper these. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and taper just the bottom of the middle long one. Okay, everybody with me? Not too hard, right? So your box should look like this. Let me turn it horizontally now. So we've got the long pieces, two middle tabs, and then the rest of the box. So what we want to do is we want to place adhesive, and I'm going to use Fuse. You want to place adhesive on the inside of these flaps, okay? So you want to make sure that you're folding your flaps in. Okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold it up just like you would a normal box and line it up. Can you see that? Line it up here on the sides and glue it down. Same thing with this one. Fold it up, line it up, and glue it down. Fold this, line it up, glue it down. Fold here, line it up, and glue it down. So now you have a box with 4 flaps like this, right? Okay, what you want to do is you want to place adhesive on the inside now of these because these are going to tuck in and create your reinforcement. They're also going to cover these flaps in here so you don't have anything that's going to catch when you put your box together. So I'm just going to do a little bit of Fuse on each one of these tabs, flip it over. You can use Tombow for this as well. You can also, ooh, hello, let's stay on the paper. You can also use tear and tape. You can use, I wouldn't recommend snail because it is a box, so you want it to be a little bit sturdy. But Tombow would work. Tear and tape would work. You know, all that would work fine. So there you have your box. And it's reinforced sides, so it's very sturdy. And I like that box. I think I'm going to start doing a double-sided reinforced box because it's much sturdier than just a plain old box. And it only takes, you know, an extra inch of cardstock, maybe 2 inches, something like that. So I'm good with that. All right, I'm going to set this aside. And then we're going to bring in our top. Okay, so what we do to one piece, you're going to do to both pieces. It's going to be exactly the same. I'm only going to do one to save some time. So here's the first piece, and on the 6 3/8 side, you're going to score at 1.5, and 4 7/8. And then flip it around to the 8.5 inch side. You're going to score at 3.5. and 5. Okay? And now on this one, you should have your score lines, 2 in the middle here, and then 2 on the side here. So these 2 in the middle, you're going to snip up right here on both sides, okay? And then just pick a side, it doesn't matter, but on one of the sides, you're going to remove both of these flaps here. So it doesn't matter which side, because they're both the same as far as measurements. Just choose one and remove both sides. All right, so there's one, and I'm going to remove this other one. Okay, so now you've got something that looks like that. Right? Now, what you want to do with these, instead of tapering, you want them almost to be like a triangle. So cut them quite severely, okay? You want them to be triangular in shape. Both of these flaps on both sides. Okay. And then on these flaps here, if you want to bring in your paper trimmer, you can. But what you want to do is you want to take from this point here to this score line. So from this point to this score line, you want to cut at a diagonal, okay? And I can just do it with my scissors because it doesn't have to be exact, just as long as it is tapered that way. Make sure that the outside is the points match up here. You don't want to go this way with it, okay? Otherwise the box won't look right. So again, this point to this score line, you're creating the flaps that will be on the box. Okay? So now your lid looks like that, right? Looks kind of wonky, doesn't it? Looks like something that lives in the sea. Okay, now we're going to fold and burnish our score lines. And also, I forgot to mention this part, which is not a big deal. On this piece right here, this solid piece, we want to remove some of this here because this is going to slide underneath of our box and we don't want it to show. So just kind of taper it in a little bit. It doesn't matter how much you do. If you want to take off a whole bunch, you can. If you just want to take off a little bit, that's fine too. You just want to take off enough so that it won't peek out the sides of the box because you're going to lay it down under here. And see, you just don't want the orange to peek out on the side or whatever color cardstock you're using. Okay? So now what you want to do is you want to put fuse on, or adhesive, whichever you choose to use. I'm going to use some fuse on this triangle part on both sides. And you're going to tuck it up. Whoops, I forgot I had fuse on that paper, on the grid paper. You're going to tuck it up under the thing here, which is why you wanted to make sure that you had that triangle shape cut out, because if you don't, then your cardstock is going to show. Can y'all see that? Okay, so if you hadn't cut enough, your cardstock would show underneath of there. And this one actually was cut just about right. So see, now you can't see the cardstock through that. Okay, and this one looks like it was cut just right as well. So see, there's no cardstock there. And then this becomes your lid that's going to close over top of your box. Okay? So now I am going to get some Tombow because I am going to use my Designer Series paper. Actually, no, I'll go ahead and put the box together. Regardless, I'm still going to use Tombow. I'm going to put Tombow on the bottom here, and then I'm going to slide my box into it and close my box because I don't want to push it right up to the score line, otherwise it won't close properly and it'll be too tall. The flap will pop up too high, I mean, when I say it'll be too tall. And then just press it down. And I've gone ahead and made another lid just in the essence of saving time. And I'll do the same thing for it. And if you want to stamp on your paper instead of covering it with designer series paper, by all means, go ahead and do that. You want to do that before you assemble the lid, though, of course, and the box if that's what you want to do. Okay, so that's that one. And then you've got your box. I'm gonna get this mat because now I've got fast fuse on there and it's sticking to everything. Okay, look how cute that is. Isn't that sweet? I love it. Okay, and now I'm going to, since I've got this Tombow out, I'll just go ahead and put Tombow on here. And I'm going to mat this panel of cardstock here. And this side here with the designer series paper. Maybe I'm out of Tombow. No, I'm not. Okay. I thought I was out of Tombow. Okay. And then I used the pumpkin from the Jar of Haunts, I think. Yeah. From the Jar of Haunts stamp set to close it up. And the way I did it was, and I did part of it, but I left some of it so that I could show you. I cut the pumpkin out and stamped the little face in there. And then I did his little, because I wanted the little trunk on there, but there wasn't any way to adhere it. So I stamped it, colored it in, and cut it out. But I left the bottom part of Whisper White on there, so I have something to adhere it to. So that when I adhere it down, oh, you can't see that with this mat here. Sorry. So I left it, here, let's use this. Okay, can you see now? Yeah. So I left this little white piece of Whisper White still there, so I have something to glue it to, so that when I add my pumpkin, it appears as though it's all one piece, even though it's not. So I'm just going to add adhesive. I'm just going to use Tombow since I've got it out, if I have any left. I need to get a new bottle. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Just on that white part, and then butt that up to the little trunk. And then now it looks like it was all fussy cut out, even though it kind of wasn't. So there's my pumpkin, and I'm going to put dimensionals on the side, just on the one side though, because I don't want it to be on this side because I want the box to open. So just dimensionals on the one side here. Yes, I love it. And then I took the tag, or not the tag punch, but the label punch, and I stamped the spooky treat for you to eat. And I'm just going to add a little bit of Tombow there, stick it on top of there, and then maybe a little bit of Winkastella on this here pumpkin so that he shines and shimmers just a bit. Was that camera picking up the Winkastella? Probably not. Let's see, can I get it to pick it up? Oh yeah. It's so pretty. But anyway, there's our box. Isn't that sweet? So thank you for joining me for another day of our 31 days of Halloween. This is the first one I made. I think I like the pumpkins better because it goes better with the pumpkin paper, with the pumpkin cutout. But anyway, see you next time. Thanks. Bye.